I want to talk about credit today. I want to give a little credit advice. I am not a professional with credit. I've not had any training on any of this. So, take what I say at your own risk, maybe. I'll tell you what I did, and it worked. And, I don't consider myself a professional, but I mean, if it worked, then, right? So, I wanted to build my credit. I wanted to get to the point where COVID, sorry. I wanted to get to the point where I could just go buy anything I want. Like if I want to go buy a car, I can. If I want to go, maybe not buy a house, but you know what I mean. If I want to go buy anything, if I wanted to go to a store and they say, hey, are you interested in our retail card? We'll give you $50 today for applying. Sure, why not? I wanted to just be able to do that. So, I did some research. I signed up for Credit Karma. I started looking at what could I do to fix my credit? What could I do to build good credit? And the great news is when you don't have any credit, it's pretty easy to start. I mean, all you got to do is get you a secured card within a couple of months, like 6 months. You've got great credit. Like that's all you got to do. And that's usually all credit specialists will tell you to do is go get a card, a secured card, build your credit for a year, and then you can apply for a better card. And that's what they tell you to do. I decided to do things a little different. And you'll hit some rocky, rough times doing it this way. But I think it's worth it. So I applied for a secured card in order to build my credit and get, something established to try to get a more like non-secured card. So I applied for, I think it was OpenSky. That's it, OpenSky. It's just it's a secured credit card. You apply for it, you put up a deposit. That deposit is your credit limit, and then you use that to build your credit. They report to all 3 credit bureaus, so works. I kept that card for 6 months. I kept it past that, but in 6 months, I had enough credit established that I applied with Chase for a Chase Freedom. I did not know that Chase was one of the more elite banks. I mean, it's very hard to get a Chase card. I didn't know that. And I got it. I got the Chase Freedom, and I thought, oh, okay, cool. I got a Chase Freedom. Nice. So, got the Chase Freedom. I was trying to think, what did I get next? I don't know. I used that Chase Freedom for a while, and I ended up keeping the secured card. And after a year of having that secured card, I was reminded that there's a $39 annual fee, and I was like, why would I pay an annual fee for a card that never graduates? I mean, that's the thing. A lot of secured cards, they say will graduate. You put up like $300 for the card, and after 6 months of good continued history with them, they'll give you your $300 back and say, okay, you have a card with a $300 limit with no deposit. That's cool. And then, later they'll give you a bigger limit and blah, 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 blah. So, nope, this card doesn't graduate. It doesn't do anything. You always have to leave your money there. And I'm like, yeah, that seems pointless. So I closed the card, and I took a big hit to my credit because I closed my very first oldest card. And then I basically lost 6 months off of my history there. So it became apparent that any kind of hit to your credit, any kind of if you have a card for a year and then you apply for another card and now you have 2 cards, you only have 6 months of history. You don't have a year anymore because you had a year with 1 card, but now it averages out and your new card has 0. So you have 6 months. And that became apparent real quickly that, okay, every time I add a card, this is just going to screw me every single time. So I took that opportunity to screw me. I ended up applying for every card I could possibly get. And a lot of them declined me, and a lot of them approved me. I ended up getting another Chase card, a Chase Sapphire, about 6 months after getting the Freedom. Now, I had gotten a lot of other cards as well in that time, I don't remember in what order. I think the second bank that I ever worked with, other than Chase, was Capital One, and I don't particularly like Capital One at all. They're kind of a predatory lender, but that's a different story. But I have 3 Capital One credit cards, 1 for my business, so 4 Capital One credit cards. I don't use them. I don't do anything with them. They just sit there with a zero balance, and once a year I'll go buy a pack of gum on them because that keeps them active. So as of today, I have somewhere between 29 and 31 cards. I don't know exactly. I have lost count. And every credit person will tell you, oh, don't do that, don't do that. I even had one tell me that I needed to go close a bunch of those accounts because I didn't need them. But if you do any research at all, you can't do that. If you go closing accounts, you'll ruin your credit. It will just plummet your score. You wouldn't believe. No, you just let them sit there. If they're dormant and not used, yeah, that looks bad on you, but it doesn't look nearly as bad as the card being closed. When you get that dormant notice that you haven't used the card in a year, go use it. Now it's active again. You know, that's all you got to do. So yeah, I've got around 30 cards, we'll say. Different banks, different providers. One of my favorite is Synchrony. I have 8 cards through Synchrony. Most of them are just store cards. Wow, I can't talk. Turning into Joe Biden over here. Most of them are store cards. A few are Visa, MasterCard, whatever. I've heard bad things about Synchrony, and I haven't experienced bad things about Synchrony yet. So I will still talk good about them for now because I've had no problems. Others have had problems, but I think that any type of problem you run into is going to have an underlying reason. And that's where the downside to doing this comes in. If you're working with a bank that is very scared of doing business with you, like Synchrony apparently is scared of doing business with people who don't have good credit, according to what people say. I don't know. I've never had this problem, but apparently Synchrony is one of those scared banks. If you open a Synchrony card and say you get a $7,000 limit, and then all of a sudden your credit standing drops because you apply for 20 more cards and get them, they may call and say, oh, you know, we've decided to drop your limit to $1,000. I've never had a company drop my limit, even though all I've been doing. And maybe I just picked the right cards, maybe I picked the right banks, but if you have a lender who is scared of you, they will do that. They will drop your credit like nothing. And even in some extreme cases, if they think that things are just going out of whack, they'll say, yeah, we're going to close your account because we don't really want to do business with you. That has happened. Not to me, but it has happened. So I'm not saying, you know, in what order you should do it, because I don't even remember what order I got my cards. I know that Chase was one of the first, and turns out they are one of the hardest ones to get. Didn't know that. The Apple Card was super easy to get, and I maxed that credit limit credit limit increase out just I think it's every 3 months you can request an increase, and I just did it. And I maxed that out right fast. Like they keep saying they can't give me any more increases at this time, so that's pretty much the end of that. But I haven't requested increases with any other bank. My local bank, I did get a card with them. They're just like a little small credit union. I did ask for an increase on theirs because they do the weirdest thing. When you apply for a card, they say, well, how much credit limit do you want? I'm just like, I don't know. Like, I don't want to ask for too much because then they may just say no. So I put $800, and $800 was apparently way low. And yeah, so then I went back and I was like, well, can I get an increase to $1,500? Yep, no questions asked. There you go. So, you know, I hate to request too much because what if they say no? But, you know, maybe I'll just call them and be like, can I get like $8,000? So yeah, it worked. And like I said, I've got 30 cards that were all opened within the last 2 years. And the point behind doing that, not only does it help your credit because you've got all these cards, and if you don't carry a balance, that helps a lot. Don't ever carry a balance. But now that you've got all these cards, you're building history. So although I've had all these cards for 24 months, I've gotten them over the course of 24 months. So I've only got about 1 year of history, credit history, rather than 24 or 2 years. But in 8 years, I'm going to have 30 cards that have 8 to 9 years history. And then my average is going to be 8 or 9 years history. And that's going to really help out. If I go apply for if I go pick up another card for whatever reason, if I go to, I'm trying to think of a store that I don't already have a card through. That's cool. If I go to AT&T and they are offering a store card, I don't know why they would do that, but and they say, well, if you apply today, you'll save $100 on your purchase. Well, then in 8 years, I can do that. I can just go and get that card. I probably could get it today, but it would be a lot harder because I have a lot of recent inquiries. I mean, I've got like 20 inquiries that need to fall off right now. So really in 2 years, when those inquiries are gone, I'll probably have no problem getting anything. But in 8 years, I will have 8 to 9 years of history built. And when I add a new card, it's not going to drop it to 4 years because I only had one other card. It's not going to drop it to it's not even going to drop it to 7 years because I've got 30 cards. What's 31? You know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't hurt it at all. So that's my advice. That's what I did. It's working for me. I have no problems with it. It works. I've never had a card closed. I've never had a limit decreased. I have had several of my cards just randomly increased for no reason. They just send me a letter and say, hey, we've decided to increase you. I didn't ask for it. Discover is one of the biggest ones. They've done it several times. I don't know why. Capital One did it once on one of their cards. I requested the Goldman Sachs ones for Apple Card. Chase, I think, did it once, but that's all on one card. The other card, no. So yeah, that's what worked for me. Let me know what worked for you, and if you got questions, or maybe you've got your own method that works. At the end of the day, you say, well, why are you building credit? Just in case. Yeah, I've got money. I pay for what I want. If I go buy a truck, for example, I go buy it. I don't buy it on credit. If I can't afford to pay for it, I probably shouldn't be buying it. So no, I'm not straying from the Dave Ramsey plan here, but I am building my credit because I can be responsible with it. I know how to use it. And let's say tomorrow I go bankrupt and I have to buy something. I don't know. I need food and I have no money. Well, now I've got credit cards. I know it's not the best thing in the world, but it's kind of better than dying. So yeah, I'll use a credit card to buy food. So yeah, that's me. That's my thing. Okay, bye.